Very much. Good morning, all. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Inuit, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. I'd like to introduce the members of the panel this morning, as well as the secretary and the assessor. Today joining me via Zoom is Clay Pervez and Richard Whitbread. Representing the department is Niwan Sugagola Mansinga. Sorry, if I butchered your name, my apologies, sir. And our administrative personnel this morning is Tristan Breeden. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg Board Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once the hearing is concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing application for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested has been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by council and is independent of it and the city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if matter pertains to application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about the application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We'll be hearing items 1 through 8 today on the docket. Mr. Breeden, please affirm the assessor and the applicant's testimony.
Certainly. Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Nuwan Tudugala Munasinghage.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Henry DuPont.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, gentlemen, and Nuwan, I'd like for you to go to 701 Wellington Avenue and give us your presentation this morning, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 242104, roll number 13040135000, 701 Wellington Avenue. Roll year 2025, reference date April 1st, 2023, assessed value 1,027,000, classification 20 residential, liability taxable. This is a 3-story building, actual built year 1967, 18, number of suite 18. It has 5 outdoor parking. page 2, you can see the location of the property and the aerial picture of the property. Page 3, request for income information. And also you can see the subject property sales history there. Page 4, income value summary. The apartment has 6 bachelor units, 9 one-bedroom, and 3 two-bedrooms. Altogether 18 units. Average monthly rent per unit 624. Gross potential rent comes at 134,870. We have used 3.6 vacancy rate. Effective gross income comes at 130,015. We use 59.3 expense ratio. Based on that, net operating income comes at 52,960. We have used 5.15 capitalization rate. Based on that, the estimated market value comes at 1,027,000. Market value per suite 57,055. It's actually low, in a low range. And page 5, you can see the rent comparables. The model average rent supported by the rent comparables. And page 8, capitalization rate, you can see in the page 8, and those are model driven capitalization rate. And in here, in the bottom, you can see multifamily, high rise, low rise, low rise A, low rise B, 20th percentile, 4.75, and 80th percentile, 5.45 for the all categories. And page 7, capitalization rate evidence. The following is a sample of actual sales that took place during the reference period. The purpose for showing these individual capitalization rate to illustrate the accuracy of the model and substantiate the model-driven capitalization rate. They are not meant to be the comparable specific to the subject property. Subject is 1967 building with 18 units, which is supported by 459 Sargent Avenue. The model cap rate is 5.15. And page 8, Municipal Assessment Act excerpt. And page 9, exterior picture of the building. And page 10, interior picture of the building, and up to page 12, interior pictures. It appears the property is updated and renovated. So page 13, you can see income and expense information. Page 13 to up to 21, the income and expense information. Page 14 and page 15, you can see their actual rent there. And page 16, page 17, 20, 21, income and expense information. And up to page 21. And page 22, I have done the stabilization. So based on the information that after stabilization, that estimated property value supported the model value, model estimated value. So because of that, I am going to ask, I believe the 1,027,000 27,000 is fair value for the property. Thank you. This is my presentation.
Thank you very much. Mr. DuPont, questions for the assessor, sir?
Yes, on page 6, there's your cap rate from the brokers. So for low rise, Collier's 5 to 6 and Cushman as well 5 to 5 3/4. So two of those are around 5 to 6. Why would you be at the low end of the range for this property?
I believe because of the if you go to page 7, based on our sales, the small if property has smaller unit, the cap rate is lower. So I believe that's the reason, because when smaller the property, the price is kind of affordable for the most buyers. So because of that, maybe sale price go higher. I'm not sure 100%, but these sales show that evidence there.
So are a lot of your cap rate, how you decided if you have small number of suites, like 18 suites, deserves a lower cap rate? Is that what your opinion is for the city?
Based on the sales, that's what we can see.
The sales on page 7, your cap rates, have you got any workups given here today?
No, because of the privacy concern, we can't provide those information. So we have those, but we can't provide those.
So why do you provide those information when you do a rebuttal? Isn't it still private?
That's the, management decision. So the management said we can't provide those information.
So would you agree that one of your cap rates there, 150 Hendon, that you used the old rents and placed the year before the sale rather than the rents at the time of sale?
Yes, as I know, I didn't calculate those, but I know about that because we use that sale. The reason after sale, we didn't get the proper income and expense information. So that means they didn't provide the income and expense information. So that's why we didn't use the last sale. That means the recent sale.
You're talking about 677 Maryland, where you use the older sale instead of the newer sale, not 150 Hendon. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so 150 Hendon, would you agree that you use the old rent to calculate the cap rate instead of the rents at the time of sale?
I'm sorry, I can't answer that question because I didn't calculate that.
It's all questions I have.
Thank you very much, Mr. DuPont. Mr. Whitbread, you have questions at this time in the assessor?
Yes, thank you. I wonder if you can help me understand the relationship between risk and cap rate. In other words, if this property is in a high-risk location, high crime rate, lower income families, lower priced properties, does the cap rate go up or down?
It should be go up, right?
High risk, high cap rate. In other words, somehow it affects the investment return the investor would expect. Is that correct?
Yes.
So what you're telling me by a 5.15 is this is a pretty stable location? Highly desirable?
Yeah, it's kind of stable, but I mean, this is a downtown area, right? Yeah, I mean, in a
701 Wellington. It's
it's Wellington. Sorry. Yeah.
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 So low risk, highly desirable for investors.
I believe it's in the average risk. The point is like when the number of unit smaller, I
I
mean,
know you've indicated that already.
Yeah.
You've given that evidence, but that's not the only factor considered.
yeah,
Right?
yes, that's
Are
right.
these all model driven? Sorry, is this property model driven?
Yes.
Did you
that's
make any adjustment to the anything in the model driven data here?
I check, as I know, no, there's no adjustment for that.
My understanding is this is also a heavy truck route right into the industrial area up around Red River College, etc. Is that correct?
Mhm.
So would you say this is a less desirable location or a more desirable location?
It's like if it is Red River College and other things, that means demand for the renting is increased, right? Based on that, I believe it's a good location.
Good
for
location.
the apartment.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Mr. Pervez, would you like to ask questions at this time?
I'd like to ask a few follow-up questions on what Mr. Whitbread was asking about. So with the model, Mr. Whitbread was asking just about the general neighborhood. So does the model take into account crime rates in a neighborhood when it's figuring out, or does it just sort of look at age and sort of this building is treated the same way as a building on Linden Woods Drive that's built at the same time, and the same?
I'm not 100% sure about that, but I would give answer for in this way. Like when we are like considering the sales, that automatically gets that criteria into that sale, right? When sales occur, that means if it is crime rates high in the area, people don't like try to buy. I mean, more seller not going to go for that property there. Because of that, the sales price maybe go down. So in that case, I believe the adjustment in that sale. So we are adding like more sale into our model. So directly we don't have any criteria to add the crime rate or anything in the model, as I know.
Okay, so the 5.15 though came out from the model. You didn't adjust it at all.
No, we didn't.
You took what the model produced, and that's the numbers with us today.
That's right.
Okay, and did you those photos of the unit or of a unit, are those from a website or did you do a site visit?
Actually, it's from the website. I mentioned the website at the page 9. Yeah.
But you haven't done a site visit?
No.
Has there been one recently, or?
I think we didn't inspect that property recently.
Okay, and were permits taken out?
I checked.
Or?
I didn't find any permit. No permit.
Okay, so this is fairly cosmetic work.
I believe so. Yeah, just upgrade like a bathroom, flooring, kitchen kind of thing.
Right, those are my questions for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I guess at the end of the day, questions that I'm going to throw are with respect to the fact that it appears that there's been some work done. Do you know if the entire building has been worked over in terms of all the units within it? Or is this a few of the units, or are you aware of that at all, sir?
I'm not aware of that because this is an online picture. I believe maybe a few units because based on their maintenance and repair, it's in a higher side of the average maintenance and repair. So because of that, I believe they are doing maybe 1 or 2 units per year to keep the steady income.
All right. So you're not entirely aware if in fact the entire building has been renovated or not? And that is
No.
why you do not have an effective age on it, correct?
Yes, I don't know about that. We have to inspect the property in future.
All right. Now, I'm just making a note that physically the building sits a block or 2 away from HSC off Notre Dame. Is that, in your opinion, a good location for a building like this, sir?
Yes, because it increased the demand for the renting. So, and also Red River College and all this is, yeah, I believe so.
All right. Those are my questions at this point. I believe the others have been asked and answered.
Mr.
Thank you
Chair.
very much. Mr. DuPont?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
may I
Okay.
come back with a question for the assessor?
Go ahead, please.
Sorry, I should have asked you this when I had you. I'm looking at page 22 and page 1.
Okay.
Page 1 shows 1,027,000. Page 22 shows 1,207,000. Sorry, can you advise which is the correct value?
This is the like our I mean stabilized estimation. So like I'm saying the model driven value 1,127,000 is correct value. I mean fair value of the property. So this is like a site specific, but yeah, this is the stabilized value.
So the stabilized value you're using as a example of the correctness of your 1,027,000, is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay, and that's throughout your case today, because I think I saw pages like this on each of your briefs.
Okay.
That's what you're doing then?
Exactly. That's what I'm
trying to point of
show
proof.
you. Yeah, to show the our model is generating the fair value for the property.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread. Mr. DuPont, can we have your presentation at this time, please?
Mr. Chair, I have no evidence from Mr. DuPont. Is that correct? Something
no.
about, is this to be decided at hearing?
Oh, yeah,
But I have at that first page, so I'm not certain what Mr. DuPont's doing, but I'm sure he's going to tell us in a moment or two.
Okay, good. I have no numbers from you, Mr. DuPont.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same boat, sir.
All right.
Okay, I filed a report, and I just said that would be determined at the hearing, and so now at the hearing, I'm only going to dispute the cap rate. So I have some data on the location and the property itself, and then our cap rate study will be part of the evidence. So if you go to that, so page 3 shows the aerial photo, the building. So it has very little parking in the back there. And then page 4 is the assessments in the area. So the house just north of it is worth $115,000. And these are all the house prices around that 188, 206, 153. It's a very poor area, very poor housing.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. DuPont, do you mind? Mr. Chair, did I not hear you say that we don't compare
We do
valuations of
compare to
property?
assessments, sir. You are absolutely correct. Mr.
Mhm.
Dupont.
So what you're giving us, just so I'm clear, Mr. DuPont, you're giving us assessments of other properties in the area of this property. Is that correct?
I'm not comparing those properties to use as value for the subject. I'm just showing it the value of the properties in the area. Totally different. So I'm giving information on the area. It's a poor area. The assessments indicate it's poor area with poor houses, old houses.
Thank you.
That's not comparing assessment. I'm
Thank
not
you.
saying subjects should be assessed 115. These
Yeah.
are houses, subjects, and apartment.
Sorry for the interruption. I understand.
It's just to show.
Again, Mr. Dupont, not for anything, but I appreciate what you're trying to do. But the reality is, I think we understand the neighborhood that it's in, showing the assessments of the homes around it. Limited value to it, sir.
I would disagree totally. And why would you say that? It's a poor area. I have evidence showing a house right next door is dilapidated, is worth 115,000. Isn't that good information?
It's
Information about the location.
But that's not relevant to an apartment block next door, sir. It's your apples and oranges. It's like that in any other apartment block. If we went through the exercise of looking at each apartment block in a residential area and say, oh, look at the house next door. It's only worth 300,000, but the apartment's worth 3 million. What's the relevance of that, sir? That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is.
Is it a desirable area for somebody to live in that apartment?
Mr. Dupont, I appreciate what you're trying to do.
Oh, no. I'm not trying to do anything, and you do not understand. You're just saying we don't care if it's in a poor area. That's terrible. I'm showing you if it were houses worth $1 million beside it, there would be a terrific area, right? And now it's houses worth 115,000. I don't think it's right for you to disregard that information.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying I don't think it's that relevant. That's all.
So why is it relevant? It's near the hospital. You brought that up.
Well, I'm making the point that it's within a block or two of the hospital.
And you brought that up. So location factors are important.
Well, I know what the area is. The area is in an older area of the city, and I appreciate that. I really do. That's all I'm pointing out, sir. So please.
You're pointing out something that it's contrary to what I'm saying. It's a poor area. The house in the area are not worth very much, and you're saying I appreciate what you're trying to do, meaning you're not going to consider it. I think it's
not true, Mr. Dupont. I don't think that's the point
so.
I'm trying to make. I'm just saying.
You're not saying what you're trying to do. It's valuable information. It shows the location of the property.
You're demonstrating that's in a poor area. I understand that comment.
Okay.
And I appreciate it. And the only thing I'm saying is it's unnecessary to show the assessments. You could have said it verbally, and I would have been just as happy with that, sir. I get it. I understand where it is.
Oh, no. For me to say it's in a poor area and to have evidence from the assessment department of the value of the house in the area is totally different. It's a lot better information.
All right. Mr. Dupont,
so we know. So the house
disagree on that point. And please, at this point, I just ask you to go forward with your presentation, please.
Page 6.
Thank you very much.
Photos. No air conditioning. None in the windows, none under the walls. No wall air conditioning. Now we have some of the photos that we have. That's from the inspection from Jared Story from our office and Matt Barakis from the city of Winnipeg, August 2020. Vinyl flooring, small little kitchen. What it has are the carpet, page 11, and the corridor, all stained. The corridor walls are concrete block. And then the living room that had the oak parquet flooring, which is the old type flooring. The paint job there is terrible. You can see that patches all over the wall. And the same thing, the old parquet flooring there, cracking coming up. Small little kitchen. Then they have some suites they've replaced with the vinyl planks. And then you look at the suite there, the fridge and stove is
Could
very
you
small.
speak up, sir, a little bit? It's hard to hear you at this point, sir. My apologies. You were speaking very quietly, sir.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It was just you were tailing off there, sir. That's all.
Oh, okay. Maybe my thing was not right. Okay, so the cap rate that we have from our cap rate study that for that age group is 5.75%. So you're aware of the cap rate study on page 22 of that cap rate study. We come to a list of cap rates. So we start 2005 at 5%, and that's where that's the low end of the broker's reports, and that's low end of our cap rate. Then we go up by 0.25% by different age groups. From 1990 to 2004, 5.25%, 78 to 89, 5.5%, and 46 to 69, 5.75%. Now we could add a percentage or 0.25% or so for location, which would make it 6%. But we're sticking with 5.75%. So basically, I have now to do the maths, just taking the assessment.
Are you on a particular page, sir? In your evidence? Are you quoting from a page in your evidence?
Yeah, page 22 of the cap rate report.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know if I have that.
Oh,
So is that a separate report?
yeah, it's a separate report which I sent.
And we have it in our evidence?
I believe we do, Mr. Whitbread.
I can't find that. Just if you bear with me, Mr.
Absolutely, sir. So shows
okay, is this the
Altus apartment cap
rate study?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know we were in that document. Okay.
Yeah, he bounced over there to speak about that.
Yeah, it's useful if you give us a reference point, Mr. DuPont. Thank you. Bear with me, I just need to expand this. And you were on page 22?
Yes.
Okay, bear with me while I get there. Sorry to delay you, Mr. Chair, but I did
No
want to
worries.
look at this evidence.
We have to get it right, and I don't mind waiting for us to get to the correct pages that Mr. DuPont's pointing at, please. So.
Okay, so I interrupted you when you were talking about location.
No, it's sorry, I can't give it the. I know when I'm seeing my cap rate study, and everybody said we've seen it before, and now we don't want to. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but so I was referring to the table and other reports today. You'll see the same little table that we have on page 22. So I'm saying the broker's report is 5 to 6%. 5% is for the superior properties, and then we go up by age group. So it makes sense to go by age group, etc. So it would be this property would be at 5.75, and it's an inferior location, it's a poor location, West End, with surrounded by low price houses. We could be giving a cap rate premium. You may disagree with my base cap rate, 5.75. You may take it 5.5, then add a 0.25% for location, and we get to 5.75 again. So that's all I have to say on that. And now I can determine the value.
So at the end of the day, Mr. DuPont, I believe you agreeing with the assessment department's NOI, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Is that correct, sir?
Yes, I'm agreeing to 52,000.
And you'd like to use a cap rate of 5.75. Is that what you're suggesting this morning?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And that comes to a value of
to what?
A value of 920,000.
Okay. So that is what you're seeking as a valuation on this property?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the presentation in its entirety then, Mr. Dupont?
Yes.
Or do you want to add?
The only thing I would say is more on the locations that poor areas, like North End, West End, and this, and the Victor and Langside area. There will be something near a nice building, shoppers maybe nearby, or a store nearby, and you can say, oh, that's a good area because it has a store nearby, or here it has a hospital. The areas around the hospital to me are not nice places to live. It used to be at one time that the doctors and nurses would live in the area to be close to work. They do not anymore. It's not a desirable area to do that. So the hospital does not add anything positive to this. It's the area that you're in, the low price housing. It's a high crime area. The hospital does not stop the value of those houses and the neighborhood itself. Thank you.
Okay. If that's your presentation, sir, any questions, Mr. Dewan?
So I think in Altus cap rate study, page 12, you have sales price per suites, right? Which is the page? It's page 12, in appendix, page 12.
Of his brief, sir?
No, in a cap rate study.
Okay.
So actually, I printed that one. I am trying to find it in electronic document. In my printing, it says page 12, but
Page 12 is where he's identified the sales that have taken place, 5 sales. Is that what you're looking for?
oh, sorry. So appendix. Sorry about that. Somehow I missed that page.
What is the question that you have then for Mr. Dupont, sir?
Basically, what I'm asking, like they are mentioned 1946 to 1969 average price per unit 112,000, and median is 110 sorry 107,000. So
what page are you on there?
it's
That's page 22
Oh, page 22.
in your little chart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Price per suite.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So basically, in here, our average price per unit, it's 57,055. Isn't it fair value for this property? That's my question.
We're not doing a direct comparison approach. And pre-1946 averages would include all these properties along the near Wellington Crescent. A lot of these properties are in better areas. They're large with very high rents. This is not the same thing. So we can never go with averages. Averages is not a way. It's not an appraisal principle. Either you do a direct comparison approach and you get specific comparables that are very similar to the subject, or else you do an income approach. You do not use average at any time. So I don't believe that's any indication of the value.
Okay. Isn't it like a ballpark? Can we get as a ballpark? Because like it's average, right? Like we are in a low range. So that's why I just ask about that. Okay, I got you what you are saying. Thank you. That's all my question. Thank you.
Those are your questions?
Yeah.
Very good. Mr. Perez, good. Any questions for Mr. Dupont at this point?
No, I think I understand you. So we're applying a cap rate of 5.75%, which is the low end of the Altus range for an apartment.
High end. The lower the cap rate, the higher the value. So we start at 5% for newer properties, 5.
Yeah, but the range is 5.75 to 6.5.
Oh yeah, I see. Well, at the bottom of that particular range, yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, when it's broken down by the age, like.
And I'm saying there is a premium that may be given to this because of its location, but I'm including it in the 5.75.
Right.
So even if you thought the base should be 5.5, then you should take the location as part of the consideration.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I had the right numbers because later on that's what we'll be talking about. So that's all my questions for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Whitbread, any questions for Mr. Dupont?
Yes, a couple. Mr. Dupont, I questioned the assessor on the relationship between risk and cap rate. And his answer was that the higher the risk, the higher the cap rate should be. Now, do you agree with that general philosophy that if an investor faces higher risk, he would expect a higher cap rate?
Yes, that's the basis of cap rates, and same thing for bonds. A municipal bond or government bond is lower rated than a junk bond, a corporation, because it's risk. So the cap rate measures the risk mainly. Is the main thing as part of the cap rate. Because if you have the same income, 50,000, and one's in a good area, one's in a bad area, it will be a higher cap rate for those in the bad area, for those with a higher risk.
I'll come to those factors in a minute.
Yes.
And so if you raise the cap rate and have a higher cap rate, then you're going to lower the value. Isn't that correct?
If you lower the cap rate, higher the value, or
higher the cap rate, lower the
value.
Okay. All right. So I understand that, and I think we're all in agreement. Now, when I go to the factors on page 22 that you've outlined in the study, site-specific adjustments based on the following factors, the assessor seems to be relying on the number of suites, a small number of suites in this building, to identify the cap rate as a lower cap rate at 5.15. Would you agree with that contention?
I don't agree with the assessors giving a low cap rate simply because it has small suites, saying there's more people in the market, et cetera, and that's their reasons. I don't think that's proven in any way, and I disagree with giving a cap rate premium for being a low amount of suites.
Sorry. So let me understand that, because you've identified that as a factor in your study, number of suites. How would you identify the relationship between number of suites and cap rate?
On very large projects, I guess the financing gets a lot harder, and then larger numbers, and the city tends to have a higher cap rate for large number of suites. We would agree to that principle. It gets to be a lot more professional and subject to the financing. So it's more a rigorous process, and I believe the large number of suites may merit a premium or a higher cap rate.
So there is some truth in what he's saying, in that the number of suites, a low number of suites like this, dictate a lower cap rate.
Yeah, there'd be a
Could.
range. Yeah, I'm saying if we start with a 5% base, we can go up to 6.5 because of the size value. We're not going below 5. And the assessor's algorithm where they give lower cap rates, I don't think it's proven whatsoever by doing that. And so a lot of their cap rates are sub 5 because they're mainly because they're small number of suites. Sorry.
And as a board, we can't ignore all these other factors, as you said. I mean, building type of construction, heritage status, age, condition, location. These are all factors that have to be brought into play. And I think that's the case you make on this property. It's in a poorer neighborhood. The location is not the most ideal, in spite of Red River College and Health Sciences Center. Am I correct in hearing that?
That's right. Yeah. You have access to maybe something positive, but the neighborhood you live in is still a poor neighborhood and poor housing prices, and that would be in the high crime area. It's not a nice neighborhood to be in.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'm sorry to take up time with this, but I thought best to do it on the first property because I think this is going to be a case we look at in each of the properties coming forward. Cap rate seems to be a big issue, but seems to be the predominant issue in each of the properties we're going to follow with. So sorry, thanks for your patience.
No worries at all. In fact, I think it's good to flesh it out a bit more completely first time through, and then maybe we can move it along a little bit quicker as we go through the docket then today. Thank you for your question, Mr. Whitbread. Mr. Dupont, I think that basically you've got a 0.6% difference in cap rate. Now, this obviously is like a premium investor grade property. There are investors though that are at every point in the scale of, so this would be still a decent property to invest in, would it not, sir?
I don't think it's a good, decent property to invest in. It's in a poor area.
The owner's making a dollar earnings on this property, sir?
Well, you can have earnings, but then the cap rate reflects the risk, the quality
And I
of the
appreciate
income.
that.
So the risk and the quality of income is not as good in this property because of the location and the age.
Okay. Those are my questions at this point. Thank you very much for your presentation. Gentlemen, do you have either a summation to make on this?
No, thank you.
Mr. Dupont?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. So with that, I believe we have completed this particular property. And we will move on to the next one. So one moment, gentlemen. Well, this being item number 2, 690 Fleet Avenue. Mr. Nolan, would you please walk through your presentation, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 241563. I'm sorry. Roll number 12021070000. 690 Fleet Avenue. Roll year 2025. Reference date April 1st, 2023. Assessed value 1,029,000. Classification 20 residential. Liability taxable. The property has one building with 2-story. This is a 1958 build. The building has 11 suites, 7 outdoor parking. Page 2, the location and aerial picture of the building. It's near to Community Center. Yeah. And page 3, request for income information. And also you can see the subject property sales history there. And page 4, income value summary. The building has 1 bachelor unit and 10 one-bedrooms, altogether 11 units. Gross potential rent comes at 105,494. Vacancy rate 3.2%. Effective gross income 102,118. Expense ratio 50.61. Based on that, net operating income comes at 50,436. We have used 4.9 capitalization rate. Based on that, estimated market value comes at 1,029,000. The market value per suite 93,545. So page 5, rent comparable. You can see the rent comparable here, and all rent comparable support model rent. And page 6, capitalization rate evidence. This is model driven capitalization rate. I'm not going to read everything line by line, so we are familiar with this chart right now. And page 7, capitalization rate evidence, and subject is 1958 building with 11 suites. The model cap rate is 4.9, which supported by the 459 Sargent Avenue sale. Page 8, municipal assessment at exert. And page 9, exterior picture and some information about the building. What they have, what's the amenity they have. And page 10, interior picture of the building. It's appears renovated. You can see the washroom there, bathroom, and they have new fixtures there. And page 12 to 26, income and expense information. I'm not going to read them one by one, but you can go through it. And finally, we will come at page 27, and that's the stabilization table. So in here, after stabilization, I got the estimated value of 1,035,000. So that model value supported by that stabilization value. So I believe 1,029,000 is fair value for the property. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luan. Questions, Mr. Dupont?
Yes, so this property built 1958.
Yes.
And yet the cap rate is very low, 4.9%. So why is the reason for having a lower cap rate for an older property?
Because based on our page 7 capitalization rate evidence, based on the sales, you can see our capitalization there. So those are supported, those are market sale. We stabilize income and expense for 3 years, and based on that we got this capitalization rate. So we believe our model generated capitalization report supported by this information. I think that's the reason, because when the suite count is lower, as I explained before. On evidence, we can see the capitalization rate go lower.
Okay, so with the same cap rate comparables, if you had a property here today that was 100 suites, you would not give it 4.9. You would probably more than 5.75 or even 6%. You would agree with that?
I mean, for cap rate, it's not the only reason to change. I mean, so the cap rate depend on age, area, and also the size of the building. So I believe based on those criteria and also location, right? So I say if it is a bigger building, the cap rate might go a little bit higher. But if we are just looking at the number of suite count, but it's depend on the other criteria too. I mean, location and age, that kind of thing.
Okay, on page 5, that's your model income approach. Gross potential rent, you have 105,494. And your expenses are 51,682. And then you do your site specific on the last page. So you show the actual rents and the expenses. So the actual received rent was 99,442, and you stabilize at 105, which is basically your model. So why did you stabilize 105 when it was actually 99?
105. This is based on actual.
Sorry,
Yeah,
again, Mr.
that's
DuPont, you're looking at page number 4, are you? On the assessor brief, is that what you're asking about, sir?
Page 4 compared to his page 27.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So on page 27, he stabilizes at basically what he has on page 4, the model, 105,778, but the actual rents that he's showing, or AGI, is 99,000. And you don't show a stabilized potential income or anything, you just go 105. So why are you going about 6,000 higher?
I believe there should be a calculation error. Sorry about that. I just noticed it.
An error on your page 27, sir, is that what you're saying now?
Yes, yes.
Would you like to clarify that for us so that we have the a better understanding of what you're trying to show us?
So page 27, gross effective gross income should be 99. I'll take the 99,442. So it should be adjusted based on that reduction. 105,778.25 minus so basically like you can look at the 2022 there's a error, yeah, that's right. But if you are looking at 2022 value, the 55,000 sorry, 44,000.
402?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm just still calculating. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Seven, three. Yeah, my net operating income should be 44,395. That's based on that, the value should be go down. Estimated market value.
Are you
You're
making
talking
a
about
making a
page
recommendation
27?
at this point, sir?
Sorry,
Are you making a recommendation at this point?
recommendation.
Are you recommending the value be adjusted downwards, sir?
I'm trying to determine if we're working on page 27 or if we're working on page 4.
I believe he's on page 27, Mr. Whitbread.
Right.
Yes,
So this is the
yeah.
stabilization at this point. This is not
Correct.
part of it, not part of his recommendation.
No.
Well, I'm not sure if he's recommending or not at this point. That's what I'm trying to get him to answer at this point. So,
Agreed. But I don't think we're there yet.
Nuwan, are we thinking there may be a recommendation on this, sir?
Give me 1 second. Oh. 0, 4. Yeah, I would like to recommend that value. 960,000.
You mean 900?
Sorry,
6,000.
906,000. Sorry about that.
Okay. So verbal recommendation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Dupont, are you interested in the value of 906,000 for the subject property?
No.
All right.
I'd like to just confirm now what has changed to give us this. Is it the NOI, and if so?
Yes, the stabilized. I use 2022 effective gross income, and then based on that, I adjust the net operating income to 44,395.
44,395.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
slightly different than what's shown on page 27, Mr. Whitbread.
Yeah.
and based on the capitalization rate 4.9, that's market value came out 906,000.
Did you change your expense ratio to something different in order to come to that reduced NOI?
He changed the
No.
rents. He changed the EGI. Sorry.
I
He
just
went
changed the EGI. That's all.
to the actual.
But that would also that would also revise your expense ratio then. If your
Yeah,
EGI,
it should be, but I can't calculate that much fast right now. So
it
yeah,
looks like it's 55.35% thereabouts, Mr. Whitbread, based on what
that's
he
what I
shows
came
in the
up.
column there.
Yeah, that's what I came up with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's basically using the actual EGI,
Yeah.
actual expenses, and actual
I
NOI.
think we have it now. So you're not interested in the number, Mr. Dupont. Do you have further questions, sir?
No, I my NOI is slightly higher. It's lower than the original assessment, higher than that. So I'd be fine with the NOI, or you can go with my NOI. It's down to a cap rate argument.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that your final question then for him, sir?
Oh, I was asking questions. Sorry.
Yes, you were, sir. I'm wondering if you're done or not.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm finished.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Dupont. I appreciate it. Mr. Whitbread, do you have any further questions at this point?
Yes, just a couple. Did you investigate this property, Mr. Joanne?
No, I didn't.
You haven't. So you don't know if all the suites have been renovated or just some?
No, I don't know about that.
Okay.
I mean, I believe some renovated because based on the, give me 1 second. Yeah, exactly. I can't say how many units were renovated or not, but based on the web information, they have done some renovation.
You seem comfortable in the previous property saying because of the higher maintenance and repair costs, it appeared that they might be doing them on a year-over-year basis as they have move-ins or something. I think I heard you say that.
Yeah, but in this property, they have our like in average maintenance and repair. So I can't exactly say they are doing renovation or not.
Yeah. Does 55.35% ratio, expense ratio, seem like a high ratio for a 1957 or 58 building?
I think it seems fair.
Fair, okay. Thank you for that. I have no further questions.
Thank you very much. Mr. Perez, any questions for him?
Those, my questions have been asked and answered.
Thank you very much, and I believe mine have been asked and answered also.
Can I redirect?
Sorry?
Yeah, can I redirect from that?
Of course, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, the page 9 of your report, it doesn't say anything about being renovated. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Right.
Then your photos of page 10, it looks like hardwood floor and old vinyl floor in the dining room.
Yes,
Would
in
you
a
agree
bar.
that's
Go ahead.
yeah, so that's not new materials. Then the page, bottom page 10, the countertops, that's the old butcher block countertop. Would you agree with that?
It's looks like it's new tops.
But it's still the old-fashioned butcher block countertop, right?
Yeah, then I think right now old fashion become a new fashion. So I don't know. In my house,
It's come
we
back
change.
around.
The butcher block's coming back, yeah. Yeah, and the bathroom is the old vinyl flooring. It's not the vinyl plank or anything like that,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Yeah. That's all the question I have from that.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. And I guess I don't think I have any further questions. No. Mr. Dupont, can we hear from you at this point, please?
Okay. We're spending too much time so far, I guess. So I'll be quick on this one. So we got the photos. Then page 2 shows that it has no air conditioning because you can see that this one unit has a window air conditioning in there and not for the other one. So that's the tenant's air conditioning. And the map area, it's a good area in Fort Rouge. So then the cap rate, page 13. So there's that table I was referring to a while back. So that's the page 13. So that it built 1959. And that age group, we have a cap rate 5.35, 5.75 to 6.5. And there again, it's everything gradual. We start with a 5% for the best type of property built 2005 plus, so a newer property, and then we have the next age group 5.25, then 5.5 for the 70s to 89, and 5.75. So that as the property ages, the cap rates go up, which is the normal thing to have. And on the COMEX, we just say walk-up masonry, no balconies, 45% parking only. Small gross floor area per suite, 853 square feet per suite, including the corridors, no AC. We're not adding any premium for the negative factors. We're just saying it's included in that. So it's part of that. So it has some negative factors that will follow this property because you can't change these factors, 45% parking and small suites, no AC, etc. So our page 14. So we use the line 13, the actual AGI, we stabilize expenses. We use slightly less expenses than actual, line 31. So we end up with 47,790, and the assessor had the 44,132 or 302, 44,000. So that it's lower than the original assessment. So you can use the assessor's revised 44,000 or ours at 47,790. And the big difference is the cap rate. We use 5 3/4 versus theirs at 4.9%. I believe the assessor's algorithm puts a lot of weight on the size of a property and offsets location, offsets the age, offsets everything. They're putting too much in the size of the property. And that's my report. Thank you.
Anything further, Mr. Dupont?
No.
Thank you very much. Yuan, do you have questions for Mr. Dupont at this point?
No question this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Perez, any questions at this point?
No, I think my questions, we've kind of covered on the last one, the cap rate questions I had.
Okay. Mr. Whitbread, any questions further from Mr. Dupont?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
I believe Henry, oh, sorry, Mr. Dupont, I heard you say this is a much better area.
Yes.
In terms of location.
Traditionally, the assessor has the same cap rate throughout the city except for North End and maybe the West End. They usually add a cap rate for location. We would do the same thing. We would say that the most locations are good, except for North End, West End.
But in essence, this one, you've gone with 5.75% cap rate, just like you did with the previous property, correct?
Yes, that's our base.
Okay, fair enough. Those are my questions. Thank you very much. Any final thoughts from either gentleman?
No, thanks.
You're good, Henry?
No, thanks for me. No.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
may I ask for a 5-minute break?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Thank
We'll break for approximately 5 minutes and we'll be right back. Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome back. We are now at item 3 on our docket, that being 572 Corton Avenue. Yuan, would you like to give us your presentation on that at this point?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 24-1292, roll number 120218560, 572 Corridon Avenue, roll year 2025, reference date April 1st, 2023, assess value 1,031,000, classification 20 residential, liability taxable. The building has 2-story, 1959 build year. The building has 11 suites, 8 outdoor parking. Page 2, location and aerial picture of the building. Page 3, request for income information. And also you can see the subject property sales history. There's sales on October 2018 for 730,927. Page 4, income value summary. It has 11 one-bedroom, and gross potential rent 104,833. Vacancy rate 3.2. Effective gross income comes at 101,478. Expense ratio 50.74%. Based on that, net operating income comes at 49,988. We have used 4.85 capitalization rate. Estimated market value comes at 1,031,000. And market value per suite 93,727. Page 5, rent comparable. You can see model rent supported by market rent. Page 6, capitalization rate. This is a model-driven capitalization rate. Multifamily, you can see the multifamily capitalization rate on the chart. I'm not going to explain the whole thing. Page 7, capitalization rate evidence. And subject property built in 1959 and has 11 units. The model cap rate is 4.85, which is supported by 4.59. Supported by 459 Sargent Avenue sales. And page 8, municipal assessment at Exert. And page 9, exterior picture of the building. And I couldn't find any interior pictures on the web. Page 10 to 17, income and expense information. Page 11, 13, and 15, you can see their income and expense information. In page 18, you can see the stabilization which I have done. So basically, the stabilization value a little bit lower than the model value. But if you are looking at 2022 value, the 2022 net operating income, that value, if we use that net operating income, the value closer to the model value. And also I have to mention in here the market value per suite. The model value comes out at 93,727, which is good good ballpark to the we can look that one with the compare to the sales. So I think it's in a range. So this is end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone? Questions for the assessor, Mr. DuPont?
No question. So I do have a question. You have no photos, but do you have any indication that the property has been renovated in any way?
I believe they have done some renovation. The thing we can't exactly say. Sometime then they how I said, when they are presenting their income and expense information, sometimes they give us like separate information to the the capital expenses, but sometimes they don't. They merge with the maintenance and repair. So if you are looking at the 2020, they have higher maintenance and repair. But it's comparing, it's not the huge amount, but they might doing maybe little renovation here and there. I'm not sure about that 100%.
When you say renovation, you probably mean upgrades rather than renovations.
Yeah, they might do little upgrade. It's normal. for the apartments, right?
Okay, that's all questions I have.
Thank you, Mr. DuPont. Mr. Whitbread, questions for the assessor?
Well, I do sort of just want to clarify something, and this will tie into the discussion about expenses and rent. We're going to hear two properties today, 572 and 578. Is it fair to say, Mr. Nguyen, that these folks have simply taken those two properties, merged the numbers, and then split them exactly in half so that we're going to see identical presentation for 578 as we're seeing for 72?
Actually, when I am looking for the numbers, it appears like that. I'm not sure 100% about that, but I mean, based on numbers, it's look like.
Yeah, I've kind of done a quick scan of your page.
You mean income and expense information, right?
Yeah, your stabilized statements, and it looks like that's what's happened. They've just divided them in two. So my question to you, is this truly a fair accurate of the numbers for this building?
Yeah, it was in my mind too, but that's what they presented. So, I mean, based on that, we have to go what they are presented, and yeah.
Okay, I'll take that for what it's worth. Thank you very much. I'm not going to ask any other questions here, sir.
Thank you very much. Mr. Perez, any questions?
I don't have any questions for the assessor. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. And I think the only thing I was gonna comment on or question, it is all one bedrooms in this particular building, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And the location itself, you feel is a good location?
It's in an average location, I would say. So.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you very much. Mr. DuPont, I'd love to hear your presentation on this, sir.
Okay, we'll go to photos and some of the evidence. It's a cap rate dispute only. So we can look for the photos and the descriptions. So you can see the first page, page 2, the two properties side by side. There's only one air conditioning in the window and one unit, so it'd be the tenants air conditioning. Then the map, page 6, will show the two properties side by side there. They're virtually identical size. The size for 30 assessment departments, you can actually do the same. So location in Fort Rouge, so there again, fairly good location. Then we go to the statements. Sussex is not showing any photos, so I don't have any photos. So we can go to page 13. So built 1959, and for that age group, we have 46 to 69. You have a cap rate 5.75. And the page 13, we show the comments. It's a walk up. It's wood frame construction, so it's not masonry. It has no amenities, no balconies. Parking is 73% on the low side. Small GFA per suite, 786, including corridors, so the very small suites. No air conditioning, and they have some basement suites, so some of the suites are inferior because they're basement. But we're not adding to our cap rate because of these negative factors, so that you can put it as part of your consideration to arrive at your cap rate. Is it one that could qualify for a lower cap rate because of its positive features? No, it does not have any of the positive features. Then page 14 is the income approach, and we could skip that and just go to page 15, repair maintenance. So the first 4 lines on the repair maintenance page, extraordinary repairs, they have none. They have roof, they have spent money on the roof, and that's the only thing they have here for extraordinary repairs. Very little. Windows and doors have very little also. They're spending very little on that. So the first few items, which could be the large items, they don't have any. Flooring replacement is very low, $18 per suite per year, extremely low. Very low appliance replacement. Our stabilized repair maintenance 1132, which is on the low end. They're actually spending less money than normal on this type of apartment. So that speaks to its condition. Page 14. So we have lower EGI based on the actuals. And then we have lower expenses than the assessor, where 46,000 expense, assessor is 51. So we end up at 48.94 NOI, which is 1,500 less than the assessor. So that's mainly a cap rate dispute. If we divide our NOI by 5.75, we get a value of 843 versus the assessment 1030. I should point out that I have in blue real estate taxes. I calculated the taxes for each one because they're different. The rest of the statements, it's the combined statement divided by 2. I've allocated them at 50%, everything except for taxes. So there's a small difference in expenses due to the taxes, a small difference in value due to the taxes. Everything else is divided in 2. Yeah, the March of 2019 sale of 730, that was based on probating the will. That's not arm's length. So we should not be relying on that. You should be relying on the site-specific income approach, and the cap rate is the main issue. 5 3/4 for 19 building built 1959, with some negative factors as shown top right on page 14. The small suites, no air conditioning, basement suites, 73% parking. Should all be considered as part of the cap rate. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. Questions, Dewan?
No question this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Perez, questions?
Just regarding the 2 sales numbers, that's in the 730,997 is the actual sale in 2018.
2019, yeah, it went. That's the sale went to land titles.
The other one was just the you said there's a probate, so they had to put a value on it, and that's the value they put on.
Yeah, and it's determined for will purposes, so it's not exposed to the market and anything like that. So
okay, just wanted to clarify between the 2 numbers. Thank you. That's my questions.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Dupont, you have not inspected this property or the next one either, I'm assuming?
578, 572, no.
So you don't really know if in fact these suites have been renovated possibly earlier than this and are, you know, in the time where expenses may not be so high because of the fact they've been renovated in the past already? Is it possible? And I'm just trying to get a sense of it, that's all.
If we've seen somewhere they had been renovated in 2010, 2015, and the repayments are low, but the rents are high. Here, the rents are low, $694 per suite is the actual rent received. So I doubt very much, based on those rents, that they have been renovated in the past.
That's a fair statement. All right.
Wonder if I could ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Woodcraft.
I'm looking at your page 14, Mr. Dupont. Are you there?
Yes, yes.
And you mentioned line 30, real estate taxes. Are those real numbers? Actual numbers?
Yeah, they calculate based on,
Yeah, it's not a trick question. Are these actual numbers from the financial statements? Just curious.
no. The real numbers would be what the tax bill is. And if the financial statements combined both together,
Mhm.
the financial statements are not real. I mean, they're real for both put together. To actually separate it, we did the calculations shown on top of page 13.
Okay, I'm gonna jump to page 27, no, page 18 for the assessor.
Oh,
You just tell me when you're there. This is his stabilized statement.
oh, page 18. Yes.
If you look at line 216, property taxes, they're not the same as what you've indicated, any of them. Now, you had indicated that everything else on your statement, you took the numbers for the two properties and you divided them by 2, except for the realty taxes. Is that that's a correct statement I'm making?
Yes, so the taxes would be in my brief, page 21, 22 is the actual financials that we got.
Right.
And the taxes, I guess, on the next page, 5959. So they do have separated there. 5959 is the taxes shown on page 22.
And property taxes are the same as real estate taxes, I would imagine.
Yeah, yes.
May I redirect to the assessor, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
Okay, so Mr. Nguyen, when I look at your page 18, where did those numbers come from?
You're muted, sir. Yuan, you're muted at this point.
I didn't hear any of that.
Sorry, I need to double check because sometime I'm checking the realty tax with our system, what are the actual tax, but sometime I use the numbers from their statements. But if some numbers kind of sketchy, I am checking with our system. If not, I am using their actual numbers. Realty tax property.
But just a general question while you're looking at that. Is this stabilization?
I think I checked with the system because they have given us the combined tax numbers. So this one I definitely check in our system. This is the right number for each apartment.
And in this case, so what I'm hearing you saying, in this case, it's specific to each apartment.
Yes.
You didn't just take the numbers and divide them by 2, hey?
No.
Okay, bear with me just for one moment, please, if you don't mind. Sorry, Mr. Chair, I just want to check something.
Yeah, be my guest. I think I know where you're going with this.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
I think I know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
I just have to scroll down a ways in so I think I might disagree with your statement, Mr. Nguyen, because the amounts from 572 and 578 are identical. So they are not specific to this apartment. They've taken the lump sum and divided it by 2 for real estate taxes, contrary to what Mr. DuPont did. I was wondering why they're different numbers. I think that explains it. Do you want to comment?
Actually, I am double checking the information here. So we are looking for 2023 sorry, 2022 tax notice.
7017.
Yeah,
It's the same for
that's
property,
right.
property. Okay, so it's not specific to the property then.
This is for tax notice for the this property. That means 572 Corridor Avenue. That means my number is correct. I'm not sure about the Dupont, Mr. Dupont's number.
I know the difference is the education rebate.
The
So
six-
they got the tax bill for 7701, and when we calculate taxes, we do it after the rebate.
So your 6632 could be different from Mr. Nuan's 7017 for the year 2020, sorry, for the average.
Yeah, I have 5704 for 572, and I have to pull the 578. Now you're at 578. Yeah, 578. I had 6770. So I do the taxes after the tax rebate. Education tax rebate was sent by the provincial government.
It's not big numbers, gentlemen. I understand that, but what it does is it does change your expense ratio from property to property, Mr. Dupont. So you're showing 48.9% for this property. It's not just a cap rate, it's a cap rate and a expense ratio issue, giving you a different NOI, which I totally get. I think I've got that right.
Yes, and
I'm going right off your document, so I'm
no, on my page 33, I have the actual decisions of the board.
okay.
I went to a lot of trouble on this. So I got the decision of the board, and it's what I use for the 2022 tax calculation on my page 33.
I need to go
on page 572 and
Page-
578.
page 33 you're talking about?
Yes.
Bear with me when I get there. I have to keep changing the orientation on your document.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
That happens.
couple more here. Okay, so this is what you're talking about here? Page
So
33.
page 33 on 572 Cordon and page 35 on 578 Cordon.
Mhm. I'm just dealing with
Yeah.
572.
Yeah.
And you're referencing and that's where you come up with the value of 535.
Right. To put in my tax calculation.
Yes. Okay, I think I've got a clearer picture in my mind now. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no further questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Whitbread. Now forgive me, I think I've lost my place here in terms of where we're at.
572.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Not with respect to that, but I believe I've asked both yourself, Mr. Whitbread, and Mr. Perez question, which you had questions of Mr. Dupont. And I think it was back to me for questions of Mr. Dupont, which I don't think I have at this point.
You asked and I interrupted to ask if I could ask questions.
Yes, my apologies. I'm just trying to get back to the point where I've got it in so right in my mind.
Right.
So Mr. Dupont, I believe that concludes your presentation and the questions thereon. Do you have any summation, either party?
No, thanks.
Okay.
It's cap rate, and as I stated before, the assessor has no proof whatsoever on the cap rate. The burden of proof, they did not show any backup documentation on their cap rate comparables and no workups.
Okay.
So it's no proof whatsoever, and they have burden of proof. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
in the interest of expediency, we've heard the evidence from the assessor. Is it fair to say he doesn't need to go through exactly the same evidence for 578? He could just read it into the roll and we can move on?
I think that's a perfectly good idea. And we will quickly have a look at that. So, Mr. Dewan,
Yes.
we literally it is identical, correct?
Yes.
All right. So item 4. If you could just read in the roll number, the
File number.
file number, the amount that's been assessed. And then we will basically use the argument that was just heard by both parties. And I will do the same with Mr. Dupont when it comes to his presentation. So we'll just do it very quickly through. So if you could, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 24-1293, roll number 1202185700587 Corridor Avenue. This is identical building to the previous property. So I'm not going to explain everything. Basically, same build year 1959, 11 suites, 8 outdoor parking. Every information
Same as
same.
last. Yeah. So same expenses, same NOI, and same cap rate, correct?
Yes, the same cap rate, and the capitalization rate supported our capitalization rate evidence. So basically, which I mentioned in the previous property, applicable for this property too. So when I am stabilized, the same thing I have to say. The average rent per unit in a estimated market value for suite is in the range. So I would like to ask, this is fair value for the property. I suggest this is fair value for the property, 1,031,000. Thanks.
Thank you, Nuwan. Appreciate that. Mr. Dupont?
No questions, sorry.
Okay. And Mr. Whitbread, any further questions?
No, I think we covered it.
Mr. Rivez, same?
Same, no questions.
And same for me. Mr. Dupont, your position, sir?
Yeah, page 13, I have the tax calculation, and I have the tax bill or the decision of the board on page 35. And so virtually the same as 572, except I have different taxes, and the value is 833 versus 572 as 843. So it's a slight difference in value due to taxes. Thank you.
Okay. That would round out to 834, correct?
Yes.
Sorry. Wanted to catch that quickly. Thank you for your patience, gentlemen. Questions, Nuwan, any further questions to Mr. Dupont at this point, or have we gone over them already?
We got all. Thanks. No question.
Thank you very much. Mr. Perez, any questions?
I'm fine.
Thank you. Mr. Whitbread?
I have no questions either, thanks.
And I think I'm good also. So at this point, we have concluded this one also. I assume you have no further comments, either party, to summarize at this point, no?
No summation. No, thanks.
Not for me.
Mr. Chair, I promise I won't do this every two files. If we could just take a quick recess, I worked through the last break that we took. I was doing some other stuff, so.
No worries, go ahead. Thank you very much. Welcome back, and we are now moving on to the fifth property on the docket, being 124 Lewis Street. One, I understand that there's a non-cooperation on this particular one. So
Yes.
I'd like for you to read in the information on the property, being the file number, roll number, and value, and then tell me about what's going on with the non-co-op and point to that information, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 24-2528, roll number 120319720000, 124 Lewis Street, roll number 2025, reference year April 1st, 2023, assessed value 1,022,000. I am going to ask non-comparison for this property because we didn't receive 2021 and 2021 income and expense information. Also, we received 2020 information, but it was empty. So because of that, I am going to ask non-cooperation. Thank you.
Nuwan, do you have the letters requesting the information that the city sent?
Yes, in page 14, I have added the request for income and expense information letter. And I have added the...
Walk us through that because that's important to your request, sir.
Yeah, in here, we mentioned we are... do I need to read through or just... I'm brief it. So this is the letter in page 14. The City of Winnipeg Assessment and Taxation Department is collecting information for the purpose of preparing the next general assessment in according to the section 9.1 of the Municipal Assessment Act. In order to make property assessment reflect of the market value, it's necessary for us obtain the accuracy operation income and expense information for the income proceeding property. We are collecting.
Mr. Nuwan.
Yeah, sure.
We can read this. You do. In my view, you don't have to read this entire letter. Am I correct, Mr. Chair?
You are correct, sir. And I guess what I'm going to try and get to, Nuwan, is the years 2021 and 2022. You're saying information was not provided, or incomplete for 21, or they didn't provide any breakdowns, and none was received for 2022. And that letter is shown on page 14 of your brief, correct?
Oh yeah, that's correct. I got what you mean.
Okay, and then for 2022, you did actually receive income and expenses, and you've shown that in your brief, correct?
That's right.
All right. Mr. Dupont, do you have anything to add to this this issue?
Sure. Do you have a registered mail and proof that it was received?
Actually, I tried to find it, but in case I couldn't find that document.
Okay.
No, normally your practice, you only send registered mail for the year just prior to the reference date. And that's why you don't normally have registered mail for other years. Would you agree with that?
Yes, that's.
And the page 15, it shows the owner as Abdo El Tassi from the 22 property assessment. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you sent it to page 14 to Abdo El Tassi, the owner as of 2022, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then your first page, the owners are now H.E. Altasi, 3 different names Altasi. So it went from one member of the Altasi family to 3 different members, right?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, based on this information, it should be.
And then your page 3, you show a sale, June 24, 2024 for $1 for Psalms 21.
Mhm.
So the
Yeah.
current owners are the one that are the owners of this property, and not the previous owner that you sent the questionnaire request to.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Yeah, that's my point. I can give arguments also. So that was my questions. That was my questions.
Mr. Dupont, I think you've pointed out correctly the issues that we need to address. So, gentlemen, we would ask you now for some patience, and we are going to go in camera and speak of what we are going to do with this issue. So,
Could I speak to my argument?
oh, sorry, Henry. I'm making the
Assumption
further
that finish.
argument, be my guest, but I can assure you, we already understand where you're going with this.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Something to add, though. I did send a letter of authorization to the board. Part of my submission that I sent to the board
Okay,
was a letter of authorization by the 3 new owners, and I asked one of the persons to sign. So Abdo is not on the title anymore, so you now have the letter of authorization.
Okay.
So my
And
first
that
point,
does- and that does round out the information that you provided to us at this point, so that is very appreciated.
so my argument, which I haven't made yet, is that they have no proof that they had sent it because they have no registered mail. That's the first thing. No proof of receipt, and you cannot penalize the current owner for the sins of the past owner. And I was been a principle that have been used for many years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. Now we will recess.
Mr. Chair.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I do have a couple of questions, one for each of them.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Mr. Nguyen,
Mhm.
typically we see a tracking document
Yes.
different than the document Mr. Dupont is referring to. The registered mail document and the tracking document. I don't see the tracking document either. Were you unable to locate it?
Yes, that's right. I try to find out, but I'm unable to locate the tracking document.
Thank you. Mr. Dupont, your letter of authorization, I have it in front of me, and I'm looking at AICHE Altasi. What you're saying, I think, is Abdo, the guy on the letter in 2022, is not the AICHE Altasi. It's a different person?
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
so the city may have incorrect address information on file. Is that correct?
No, in 2022, when they sent the questionnaire, they sent it to the proper owner at the time, Abdo.
Okay, but these other 2 people were owners then too.
No, he showed the 2022 ownership.
Yes.
It was Abdo only, and then they had some kind of thing in the family,
Okay.
and Abdo gave it to, I don't know, other people of his family. It could be the father to children, but nevertheless, he's not there. So it's new owners now. And that's why I have a letter of authorization, because it's different than the previous owner.
Okay, so the April 1st, 2023, the page 1 of the document from the assessor shows these same 3 people as the owners. That is different from a few months prior to that in 2022.
Right. So the assessor's got the correct owners now as of 2024, the date of the appeal. These three people, and I got the letter of authorization from them because it's June 2024. They changed ownership to that, and the assessor sent the request for information to the previous owner, which was the correct owner at the time. And my argument's that the owners changed. We cannot penalize the new owners for the sins of the previous owner.
Now,
As well as that, no proof, no registered mail, and no tracking sheet, etc.
whose responsibility is it to advise the city that an address change has occurred, ownership has changes occurred, which when I look at the information on page 3, I think it is, subject sales history, it shows a change, but that was in 2024. Who's supposed to tell the city?
The city knows they got it right. So I don't think it's a point.
No.
Let me maybe try and answer that, Mr. Whitbread. Because I think what happens once the registration has been made at land titles would then send information to the department of the new owners that are in that particular, or on that particular property.
Yes.
And that take place in June of 24. And they had a consideration of $1, a sworn value of $771,000, and a sale price of $1. So when that took place, the new owners would have said, okay, we are now the new owners.
Yep.
This is the address that we want our mail sent to, and it's been registered. And I believe Mr. DuPont agrees that that part has all been correctly done. But previous in 2022 and 2023, it was the original owner, and it appears, and I would agree with Mr. DuPont, probably a father or an uncle or something like that, passing the torch to the balance of the family at this point. That appears to be what it looks like.
Yeah, I get that. And the fact that we're always dealing in retrospect, going backwards, not to cast aspersions on the city for 2022, their actions were correct in sending that letter to the then current owner.
Correct. They did what was correct at that moment in time. And at that moment in time, in 2021, so when they sent that out in April of 22, there was no response. Unfortunately, Nuwan is unable to find any signatory cards or anything like that, because I don't know if it would have been sent out registered mail at that point. Therefore, he has something missing for 21, but in fact for 22, he did receive income and expenses for this property.
You mean in 2023?
Correct. No, 22.
For the information you're
23.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. So I think, I hope that clarifies that for you, sir.
Yep. And who's the onus of proof is on who? The assessor or the agent?
Well, at this point, the assessor has to prove to us that the information has been correctly sent out and that the information is complete. And Mr. DuPont has pointed to the issues that he feels are important for us to look at. And at this point, we will go in camera to discuss those very issues. So.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I just have one quick question for Mr. DuPont as well.
Go ahead.
Abdul Al-Tassi, the previous owner, have you guys acted for this property prior to this? Like, do you have a history with this building or?
Yes, I believe we have.
Okay.
I can make sure that we do, but it's right here.
Do you know, is he still alive? Like, was this a transfer done by him to the next generation, or did he pass away?
That I'm not sure. We did a 2023 appeal at the Board of Revision. So we acted for Abdo at the time.
Okay, so at that time he was still.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my only question, just because I think it could make a difference if he, we had just dealt with earlier a property that was transferred through a probate.
Yeah.
That if that took place this time, that the reason why Abdo didn't fill out the documents is because he was dead. I think that's.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure whether he passed away or not.
You don't know.
I don't know.
That's all.
I would like to give summation on this also.
I'm done with my
Hey.
question, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Henry. Make it quick, sir.
Okay, municipal board has ruled umpteen times on this issue, and it's gone to Litchison to the court, and Litchison stated that the assessor had the burden of proof to demonstrate that the property, the questionnaire has been received by the proper party. And that's why all subsequent decisions from municipal board will always say you have to have proof it was received. If they don't have proof and they just sent unregistered mail, there's no penalty. So here, that's what we have. So that there's many decisions, municipal board and case law with the Litchison saying they have proof to demonstrate receipt. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DuPont, and I am aware of what you speak of, so again, unless there's further questions,
No, nothing for me now.
we will go offline. If you could put both gentlemen in the waiting room. And your patience is greatly appreciated, gentlemen. Okay, bring one to the, there we go. Welcome back, gentlemen. We have deliberated quickly on the issue of the non-co-op on this particular property, and we are not granting the non-cooperative decision on this. So, Mr. Luan, would you please continue on with your presentation on this? Thank you.
Sure. This so I don't need to go through the roll number and those information,
You've
right?
already done that, sir. You can go right to your evaluation if you like, or wherever you feel you need to start, sir.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The build year for this property 1956, number of suites 15, outdoor parking 6, and page 2 you can see the location and aerial picture of the building, and page 9 request for income information, and also you can see the sales history of the property. Page 4 income value summary. The property has 6 bachelor suites, 9 one-bedrooms, altogether 15 units. Gross potential rents come at 116,741. Vacancy rate 3.2. Gross effective income comes at 113,005. We have used 55.23 expense ratio, and net operating incomes comes at 50,592 based on 4.95 capitalization rate. Estimated market value comes at 1,022,000. Market value per suite 68,133. That's lower in the lower range. Rent you can see rent comparable in page 5. So you can the model rent supported by comparable rent. Page 6 capitalization rate, and those are model generated capitalization rate. You can see the multifamily capitalization rate bottom of the page, and page 7 capitalization rate evidence. Subject is 1956 building with 15 units. The model cap rate is 4.95, which supported by 241 Young Street sale. And page 8 municipal assessment at exert. Page 9 income and expense information, which I just received for the 2022. So page 13 I stabilize based on 2022 information because we don't have other information on hand. So based on that, I took the gross potential rent and use market vacancy. And based on those information, estimated market value came at 1,017,000, which is closer to the model generated value. It's like without at least 3-year information, we can't stabilize the rent. But anyway, 2022 income and expense information almost support our value. So because of that, I believe 1,022,000 is fair value for the property. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. Mr. Dupont, do you have questions of the assessor at this point, sir? And you're muted, sir. Henry, you're muted.
Okay, no questions.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Whitbread, questions?
Yes. So I'm looking at page 13, and you're calling it a stabilized income and expense, but is it fair to say it's really not stabilized without that 3 years? I think you.
Yeah. That's sorry, go ahead.
Did you consider putting in 20 or 19, which you did have?
Yeah, that's right. This is not a really stabilization. This is I try to get the value in line with the 2022 supported information, and I mean income and expense information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it's better if I add 2019 value. That's right.
So tell me, I'm looking at net operating income on that page.
Mm-hmm.
How did you go from 47,000 in 2022 to 50,364? How did you make that switch?
I think they have higher expense. Vacancy rate. So I have used 3.2 vacancy rate. So base of that, income is high. You are asking about the expenses, right? Is that correct?
I'm asking about net operating income.
Okay.
On the bottom, it shows 2022 47,145, but then you've thrown in 50,354.
Yeah, because of the effective gross income, I use only market vacancy rate. Because of that, effective gross income went up. That's the reason.
Whereas they use 10.8% for 2022. Okay, I've got you. Thank you very much. No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread. Mr. Pervez, any questions at this point?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe I do not have any further questions. So, Mr. Dupont, your presentation on this property, please.
Can I redirect?
Sure.
Short question. Your page 13. Your page 13.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the difference in expenses is that you've allowed for management 5,040.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So it was self-managed. They were not declaring any management expense, and that's why there's actual 45,000 expenses, but you stabilized at 50.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's all the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. But and go ahead, please, on your presentation, sir.
Okay, so it's a dispute cap rate only. So we maybe go look at the photos, etc. Beginning photos, I usually try to get close up to see if they have air conditioning, and they do have air conditioning on the first photo, and 3 in a row, so they're probably not tenants. And then in the back, we have a photo from the back, and they also have 3 conditioning in the windows. So that's those would be landlord air conditioning units. I guess very little photos, no interior photos from the web, no advertising from the web. Page 12, the cap rate for this 1956. So our cap rate for 46 to 59 is 5.75. So page 12, you see that I list some of the factors there. With frame construction, there's no amenities naturally. It's average, below average, as indicated by low rents. Parking is only 40% of the stalls per unit, 40% bachelors, very small GFA per suite, 7.62. So the cap rate is 5.75 plus 0.25% base. So we added the base on that one, premium. So that's shown on the next page. We show the financials. There again, line 15, there's no management. So whatever actual you have expenses, you should be adding management 5%, so 4,000 to 5,000 to have compare actuals. It should be something you should be allowed. So line 13, we stabilize at 101, 807, and based on their actuals, and we use the actual vacancy, but we brought down the bad debt to 2,000. So that's why there's a little bit difference. So we have, they actually received 92,000 in 2022, and we stabilize at 101, mainly because of the bad debt there. Which is lower than the assessor 113, but then our expenses are lower than the assessor. The assessor is 62,000, we're 50,000. 903, we just use a 50% expense ratio. That's very general. And normally that would not cut the mustard if we were in disagreement with the assessor, but we are not disputing the NOI. So basically we're saying there's different ways to arrive at it. We end up not disputing the NOI, and we have a cap rate dispute only. Now, part of the what the subject has, the line 3, actual rents are 610 per suite, which is on the low end. But the suite mix above, you can see out of 15 suites, the 6 are bachelors. So that part of the reason they have low rents is they have a high amount of bachelors, but they're still on the low end. But in the end, we do not disagree with the NOI. I'm just pointing that out as it speaks to its condition. They're not upgrading. They don't have a high rents to indicate there's any upgrades in the property. So if we apply a 6% cap rate to the NOI, which is virtually similar to the assessor, we get a value of 848,000 versus the assessment of 1,022. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dupont. Nuwan, questions for him at this point?
No question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pervez, any questions?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Whitbread, any questions?
Yes, just looking at your chart on page 13, you didn't seem to have a problem working with the stabilized numbers from 2018, 2019, 20, and missing 21, and 22 is there. Is there any threat to the validity of your numbers, given you don't have 21 information in there?
No, we have other years, and we can stabilize it 1 year. We can stabilize it with 2. If you have brand new apartments, sometimes you have only 1 year or 2 years. We use whatever we have, but we just can't say if it's only 1 year or 1 year missing, you have to throw everything out. So we can still come up to a stabilization. And this one here is that I stabilize expenses at 50%, which is kind of a general, but in the end, I end up agreeing with the assessor's NOI. Now, if you take the actual expenses, you add the management, 5,000, like 2022 is 45,000 actual, add 5,000 management like the assessor did. And his thing, it comes to 50,000 expenses. The prior year was 57,000 plus 5,000 in management would be 62. So it's a bit erratic, and then so we end up with 50%. And we end up saying we don't dispute the NOI. The actual would kind of support the assessor's NOI, so therefore we don't dispute it.
Thank you for that. No further questions.
Thank you very much, and I think questions have been asked and answered to satisfy my curiosity, so thank you very much. Any final thoughts on this property, gentlemen, either?
No, thanks.
I adjusted the cap rate for negative factors, and one of the negative factors that we should consider has a high amount of bachelors, 40%, versus other properties here today. This one has a lot more, and GFA is quite small, 762. Others may be at 800 or more. This is getting kind of small, and then you have also 40% parking on top of that, so that. Sometimes we don't adjust for some of the factors in this one. I believe 0.25% is warranted. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dupont. Appreciate that. This concludes this particular property, gentlemen. We will move on. And we will go to 291 Stradbrook Avenue. Juan, can we have your presentation on this, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 24-1457, roll number 12031804000, 291 Stradbrook Avenue, roll year 2025, reference date April 1st, 2023, assessed value 1,124,000, classification 20 residential, liability taxable. This is a two-story building. Actual build year 1961. 10 suite. It has 10 suite and 10 parking stalls. Page 2, you can see the location and aerial picture of the building. It's not a bad location. And page 3, request for income information. And page, also you can see the subject property sales history. And page 4, income value summary. The property has 8 one-bedroom, 2 bedrooms, altogether 10 units. Gross potential rent come at 109,895. Vacancy rate 3.2. Based on that, effective gross income comes at 106,378. Expense, we have used 48.76 expense ratio, and based on that, a net operating income comes at 54,508. We have used 4.85 capitalization rate. Based on that, estimated market value comes at 1,124,000. Market value for suites 112,400. So page 5, rent comparables. You can see model rent supported by rent comparables. Page 6, capitalization rate. This is model driven capitalization rate. Multifamily, in the chart, you can see the multifamily capitalization rate. So page 7, capitalization rate evidence. Subject property built in 1961 and it has 10 units. The model capitalization rate is 4.85. I think 700 St. Mary's Road and 23 Bertrand Street supported our capitalization rate. So page 8, municipal assessment at Exert. Page 9, you can see the exterior picture of the building. And page 10, you can see the interior picture. It appears renovated. You can see the bathroom in here. And actually those pictures from their online website. So, and page 12 to 20, you can see the income and expense information. You can scroll through those information up to page 20, and then you can come at page 21. That's my stabilization table. So I have stabilized their actual, and then the the estimated market value comes at 1,140,000. So that value, the model value supported by the stabilized value. So I think 1,124,000 is a fair value for the property. This is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dewan. Mr. Dupont, questions of the assessor?
Page 9, bottom of it, you have a web address, and it's zumper.com apartment. That's where you got your photos.
That's the yeah, that's the website I got the photos.
And so that's not from the property management firm or from the owner. You would agree with that?
Yes, that's right.
So websites like Zumper are getting photos from individual people or putting comments, etc. So that can't really confirm that it's the right photos for this property due to the website that you went to.
We can't exactly say it's incorrect, because if can't provide the incorrect information on the like renting out, right, then the renter will get mad.
Okay. Okay, so you went to the asteroid site and they don't have photos for this property. You would agree with that?
Yes, that's right.
And so that this photo on page 10, the kitchen, so that's a flow form countertop. It's an older type of form of countertops.
Yeah, the type is older, but I think it's I mean, currently we can buy the same kind of countertop on the market. So I believe they replace it.
And
because,
sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, based on the cabinet, the pantry cabinets, they are looks new. Yeah, you can ask.
Right. Yeah, it appears it's not original cabinets. So it'd be upgraded cabinet, but they still have the white appliances and flow form, which is older type of finish. Now the bathroom, it shows a tub surround instead of ceramic wall. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
So would you agree that's quite common to have tub surrounds in apartments?
I think so. I'm not, I mean, yeah, it's common.
Okay, on page 11, you have another bathroom, and this one has ceramic walls.
Yes.
Which is a bit strange, because if your words were one tenant posting photos, they should not have two different types of bathrooms. But nevertheless, it's ceramic walls. It appears to be in good condition, but it's still the old vinyl floors, so it's not really upgraded. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, the floor is not upgraded, but the fixtures are upgraded. Looks like they upgraded. And also I have to mention, I saw in this docket, I saw some pictures with the tile in the bathroom. Maybe, I'm not sure, maybe next few item might have. Is that all question you
That's
have?
all the question I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. Mr. Whitbread, do you have any questions of the assessor, please?
I don't, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Perez, any questions at this point?
I also have, sorry, I also have no questions.
Thank you very much. And obviously you have not inspected this property, sir?
That's right.
And the pictures that you've provided is just from the website. You haven't figured out how many suites are in this condition or if these are the only 2 suites that are in this condition.
Yeah, I can confirm that because I didn't inspect the property. But like when you are looking at 2020 maintenance and repair, they have higher maintenance and repair in 2020. I believe maybe they are done some renovation here and there. That's only I can provide for that. For that's the answer for that question.
Fair enough. I think that's it. Mr. Dupont, can we have your presentation of this property, sir?
Yes, page 1, you see the photos, and there's no air conditioning in the windows or in the walls. So basement suite, so it's no air conditioning. Then we have the aerial maps, etc. So on Stradbrook, it's not a bad location. It's very competitive in the area. They have a lot of older apartment blocks and walk-ups in the area. That mainly is a walk-up area. We can go to our page 14 for cap rates. So that age group is built 1961, and that age group, which we've seen many times before. Today it's 5.75 to 6.5. We show some of the factors. Parking is 100%. That's pretty good. Gross floor area is relatively small, 806. No air conditioning, basement suite, no amenities, no balconies. So I went with the base cap rate, 5.75. So page 15 is the income approach. Now can we skip this? Now go to the next page, repair maintenance. So there is a breakdown of repair maintenance on page 16. And the assessor is saying that some years are higher, etc. 2020 on top there, they have extraordinary repairs, 8,000, and then they put some money in the roof. When we stabilize, we do not stabilize for anything in that area. Also indicated in red are high amounts that we exclude from our averages. So they spent 10,000 on electrical. And plumbing, they spent 10,000 in 2019. Then they got a credit for 66.86 the next year. So maybe a net of 4,000 they spend on plumbing. If you see flooring and appliance replacement, there's only $10 per suite per year, and appliances only $14 per suite per year. So very little has gone on flooring and appliance there. So we stabilize repair maintenance at 1329 based on each of these individuals after we've excluded the high electrical and plumbing, and we did not allow for extraordinary repairs of roof. So back to page 15. Yeah, 15. So we start off, we have lower rent in the assessor, line 3, 807 versus the assessor 916. I would suggest that 916 for 1961 building with no amenities is quite high. We've seen a couple here this morning in the 600 range. So 807, it would be for a property that's relatively well maintained. They would replace the cupboards and put tubs around here and there, but it's not a renovated property. So line 13, we're at 99,000, which is basically the same as 2022. They don't show vacancy in 2022, so it's included in the financials. and the assessors got 106. So we got about 7,000 less in EGI to start with. Expenses, we stabilized each of the expenses in a normal way. We stabilized the repair minutes, as you saw from the page. That's $13.29 per suite. And then we end up line 31, virtually the same expenses as the assessor. So our main difference in NOI is still the EGI, 6,000. So our net operating income is 48,000 versus the assessor 54.5, about 6,500 difference. So I believe we should go with our NOI because we're site specific. We have good data. We have 5 years repair minutes and 2 years of financial statements. So we should go with that. And then we use 5.75% cap rate. I mean, we do for that age group. We're not giving any premium or for the negative factors. It has good parking, 100% parking. Suites are on the small side, no amenities, and no air conditioning. And these follow this property. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. Yuan, any questions of Mr. Dupont?
No question. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Whitbread, questions of Mr. Dupont at this point?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Perez, any questions at this point?
I also have no questions.
And I believe you touched on it, Henry, sorry, Mr. Dupont. This is in a fairly good area in terms of there are many apartment blocks of similar vintage in this area.
Yes, yeah, Stradbrook. If you look at our portfolio, we get tons. Stradbrook. We have lots of apartments, so it's plentiful on Stradbrook. Also similar to River, a street to the north. So that area west of Osborne Village is full of older apartments. There are some new ones that have popped up here and there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And I think that's pretty much my questions. So unless you have summation, either party, that would be a moment to do it now.
No, thanks.
No, thanks.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. So that concludes this property.
I wonder about a 5-minute break, Mr. Chair.
I was just about going to say that. So
Thank you.
we will take a 5-minute break at this point, and we'll come back to 253 River Avenue. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much, and welcome back. We are now at 253 River Avenue. Nuan, can we have your presentation on this particular property, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 241402. Roll number 12032385100. Address 253 River Avenue. Roll number 2025. Reference date April 1st, 2023. Assess value 1,142,000. Classification 20 residential. Liability taxable. I have to apologize here. I asked to discard the recommendation because I found a calculation error in the stabilization. I will correct it when we are in that page. In this property has this is a 2-story building built year 1954, and it has 11 suite and 8 outdoor parking. You can see the location and aerial picture of the building. This is a good location. And page 3, you can see the request for income information and subject property sale history. And also, I have to mention here another thing. This is the same kind of property we have dealt with in this docket 572 Corridor Avenue and 578 Corridor Avenue. This is same kind of one. They have submitted the combined statement for this property and the next property. So in page 4, income value summary, it has 6 bedroom and it has 6 1-bedroom and 5 2-bedroom, altogether 11 suites, and gross potential rents come at 116,742, vacancy rate 3.2, effective gross income 113,006. We have used 50.48% expense ratio. Net operating income comes at 55,961. Based on 4.9 capitalization rate, estimated market value comes at 142,000. Sorry, 1,142,000. Market value per suite 103,818. Page 5, rent comparables. You can see the model rent and the model rent supported by comparable rents. Page 6, capitalization rate evidence. This is model generated capitalization rate, and you can see the below of chart multifamily capitalization rate. I'm not going to explain it again. Page 7, municipal assessment act excerpt, and page 8, you can see exterior picture and information of the building. And page 9, interior pictures. And page 10 and page 10, 11, you can see they have done some upgrades. And page 12, you can see the bathroom, and they have tile bathroom there. And page 14 to 22, income and expense information. Page 23, my stabilization table. As I mentioned, I have to correct some information here. The main thing, I forget to average out the maintenance and repair. So when I am average the maintenance repairs, the stabilization value comes at 16,995, and so that's changed the net operating income, and new net operating income is 56,928. Based on that, the new value comes at 1,161,000. So basically, that's value supported our model value. Therefore, I believe 1,142,000 fair value for the property. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nuwan. Questions for the assessor, Mr. Dupont?
Just hold on here. The actual gas expense is 22,000. You don't show any gas expense. Did you miss that?
Sorry. Yeah.
You have hydro and water. So
You're looking at page, what page are you looking at?
oh, sorry, yeah, you're page 23.
Thank you.
23.
Yeah.
Hydro and water, yeah. So
And if you look page 15, the third line has fuel, 22,129. For 1 year, and then 18,802. Would you agree that those don't show up in your spreadsheet?
22,000. $18,000 in 2021. So if I miss that one, it should be in maintenance and repair. That's amount. Double check it. Well, insurance. Water and hydro, 10,000. I'll check it. Yeah, it's the total is right, but yeah, I mean total expenses is right, but that number is incorrect. Yes, that's right.
And then your page 23, you're going with the financial statements divided by 2 to get those figures that you show there.
Yes, because they are combined.
Right. It's all questions I have. No, sorry. No, that's it. The only thing I found. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. If there's something that does come up, feel free. And I guess I'll just say this again, if we have a scenario where it's 2 identical blocks, same ownership, etc., we'll be able to go through the questions for both of these properties on this one, and it'll be quicker on the second one. That agreed?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Pervez, any questions at this point?
I just want to confirm the financials that you provided to you, the statement of earnings, all that, so it was for both properties, and then you just divided by 2?
Yes, because they combine, so we don't have any other way to figure it out, the actual for each building. So we went that way.
Okay. That is all my questions for right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Whitbread, any questions?
No, I have none. Thank you.
Right, and I think my questions are taken care of. Mr. Dupont, can we hear your presentation at this point, please?
Okay. So the photos that I show, the first page or page 2, it shows both buildings side by side. You'll see they have no air conditioning. And the first photo on the left is a little lane there that does belong to this lot. And then the page 3, we show a little lane besides the property on the right, and that's the access to the parking for both properties. We show different angles to show there's no wall air conditioning or window air conditioning, so there's no air conditioning. The aerial map is on page 7. Now, if you can see 263 on the top of that map, there's a lane there, but it's separately assessed. And that's not what we have for the subject. What we have is the lane on the right of 253. And so that they take that lane and they go to both lots from that. And then the area, it's on rivers on the east of Osborne Village, similar to the Stradbrook, so fairly good area. Very competitive with older apartment blocks. Page 13 for the cap rate. So the age is 1954, so it's very old. Walk up. Our age group cap rate for that age group is 5.75. We did not add any premium. The remarks is the parking is good, 105%. The suite mix is good with 55% one bedroom, 45% two. The GFA is at 921. That's also relatively good. Some of that age group would be in the 700-800s, and this is 921, so it's not extremely large, but it's good. And it has no air conditioning and has basement suite, so two negative factors there, but not enough for us to bump the cap rate. Page 14. We show the actual statements, 2020, 21, 22. We show them as combined. And then when we stabilize, we divide by 2, or we'll show what we're doing. So for management, we use 5%, but for the income, we just go 2022 times 50%. Then professional, legal, etc. We use the average times 50%. And then utilities, we use the last year times 50%. And gas, will show the gas there, 15,018, 808, 22. I believe that was missing from the ones. And so 50% of that is 11,000. Repair maintenance done on the next page. We'll get to that later. Wages, caretaking at 50% and taxes 50%. So total expense, we got 63,000 and the assessor 57. So we have higher expenses. That comes to 54.5% expense ratio. And line 13, we had 4,000 higher and EGI than the assessor. We were slightly higher, but then we got 7,000 higher expenses. So line 33, net operating income were 2,500 less than the assessor. And then we have the cap rate difference. We got 5.75 versus 4.9. So that our value 929 versus the assessor 1142. So some of that based in the NOI, some on cap rate. And then the next page is the repair maintenance. So 2021-22 is the accountant type statements that don't give any detail on repair maintenance or anything like that. So all we got is the totals. 2018-2019, they had some breakdown, and we show that, but it's hard to average when you have only 2 years older. But it shows that in 2018, they did put 35,000 in the roof. And then the flooring replacement, appliance replacement were relatively low. The 22 suites, and we got 5,400 and then 2,000. So they had been relatively low. So towards the bottom of the page, we take the repair maintenance, less CapEx and less waste and snow. We show what it is for each year. The 5-year average is 34,981. That's what we use, 1,590 to stabilize. But we go a bit further. We show 2017 at the second last line. It was 51,000, 2,300 per suite, and 2016 was 44,000, 20,000 per suite, 2,000 per suite, sorry. 7-year average would be 1,758, but we use a 1,590, which is more reasonable, lower. So we're using a conservative repair maintenance. And we have the ad from Sussex. We did not catch. They have a second ad showing Unit 9, which Nuan got on his brief, but I don't have it in my brief. You can refer to that there. So they're doing some upgrades on an ongoing basis, but the amount that they have for flooring and appliances were relatively low, and the repair maintenance is relatively average. So whatever they're doing, it's on a gradual basis. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. Nuwan, do you have questions of Mr. Dupont at this point?
No, thanks.
Thank you very much. Excuse me, Mr. Whitbread, questions?
I don't have any, thank you.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Perez, any questions?
No questions from me.
Thank you very much. I think you did not inspect this property, Mr. Dupont, did you?
No, I did not.
You don't know if all the suites have been modernized or not? You're not certain at this point, I'm guessing.
No, I'm just going with the actual rents, and the actual rents will reflect whatever condition they're in and what the market is willing to pay.
Fair enough. Those are my questions. Thank you very much. Any, sorry. Go ahead, Henry.
Oh, no, that's all. That's all.
Oh, sorry. I thought maybe I'd interrupted you for something.
Oh, no, I'm checking 263 River, and I have exactly the same values, and assessor has the exact same value also. So I was moving ahead to check the next property.
All right. Any summation on this, gentlemen, either of you?
No, thanks.
No, thanks.
Thank you very much. So we can close this particular property off and complete it. And we now move on to 563 River. And this is the sister building to the one we just heard, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so let's streamline this as best as we can, gentlemen. Nuwan, I'm guessing you're going to retract your
Recommendation.
revision at this
Yes.
point, yes?
That's right.
All right. So let's have the information that you want, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 241403. Roll number 12032387100. Address 263 River Avenue. This is the sister building to the other property we discussed. So assess value 1,142,000. So I asked to discard the recommendation because I have some error in the calculation. So this is a 1954 building. Page 2, you can see the location and aerial picture. Page 3, request for income information and sales history. And page 4, income value summary. So you can see the income value summary. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Page 5, I'm sorry. Rent comparables, model rent supported by rent comparable. Page 6, capitalization rate, and this is model driven capitalization rate.
Mr. Chair, let me interrupt, please. I don't think we need to get all of this evidence. It's identical to what we saw in the previous property.
Okay, sure.
If you could just make a comment to that nature of the similarity, we're fine with that.
Okay, sure. I'll mention just one, the capitalization rate evidence, and this is so supported by capitalization rate of 4.95 Sargent Avenue sales. So basically this is an identical building. This is the pictures kind of pictures so renovated. So
everything's the same, correct, at this point?
Sorry?
Everything looks to be the same then?
Yes, everything looks the same. So I'll ask to, I believe this is this assess value 1,142,000 is sorry, I'm sorry about 1,142,000 is fair value for the property. So thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dupont, do you have any further questions, sir?
No, thank you.
Mr. Perez, any questions further? Sorry, you were.
I have no further questions.
Thank you very much. Mr. Whitbread, any further questions?
I have none, thanks.
Thank you, and I have none either. Mr. Dupont, can we hear your submission on this?
Yes, the same spreadsheet, same data, same value, which matches also the assessor with the same assessments. So that's exactly what I was asking before, 929,000. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dupont. And 929,000 is the amount that you're seeking, as you did on the previous one.
Yes.
Okay. And questions, Nuan?
No question. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Whitbread, questions?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pervez, any questions?
No questions, thanks.
And I'm same, so I believe, unless you have summation to make, gentlemen.
Maybe quick summation. So basically what we are like looking for the fair value for the each property. So basically what I have to mention here, so average price per unit is very suitable. I believe it's a indication which is in line with market or not. So based on the Altus Group cap rate study, as I understand, we are in a range. So yeah, that's my summation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dupont, any final thoughts?
Yes, their cap rates, they have no evidence, no backup. We don't know what they have. They did not live up to burden of proof. And they have an algorithm that gives a really low cap rate for small properties. And I believe that they have no proof towards that either. So I don't believe we should be using their cap rates whatsoever. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. And gentlemen, I thank you both for your presentations today and your patience along the way. So at this point, we've heard all items scheduled and this hearing is now adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Good
Bye.
day.